Hey guys, quick reminder that in this world that we live in, what you see is not always what you get. In fact, it rarely ever is. And what you do get could be a horrifying realization that everything is screwy and nothing is the same. And that's a true point. I often have the realization it's like we're living on Mars and the stage is set to be planet Earth and we're just going along with the script. Well, the script's gotten convoluted. The story writers are losing their minds and they're drunk with power and they're losing it. So therefore things are going to get somewhat erratic or very erratic. And there's going to be little explanation, little catharsis for people who never saw the spiritual value of what was happening around them. It's never too late to, though. It's never too late to awaken to what life truly is and try to make it through it. It must be bewildering for people who haven't had time to reflect, like myself. You know, there's no continuity, there's no meaningful elements to life unless you view it on different terminology. You know, I can't view life as what it was 10 years ago. I had a different mindset philosophy 10 years ago. I've learned a lot in 10 years, especially the past several years. It's been very enlightening, despite being very harrowing, very seemingly meaningless. You know, the way I put it in my mind many times is that if somebody were to have like a camera set up on me at all times watching my life from a third person perspective, it would look rather uneventful and kind of dreadful actually, perhaps, but it's actually a meaningful, deep existence because I think a lot, and because of the nature of who we are as sentient people. You know, when we think, it's more than just sharing a thought to our own mind sometimes. You know, we're all connected in a very deep, meaningful way that can't be explored by the average person. There's a lot to being a sentient being on this planet that never will be explained to you, that you just have to figure out on your own. And I'm actually thankful for the isolation that I've had. In a weird way, I wouldn't have ever figured out a way to cultivate and maintain peace, peace from within. You know, it's so cliche, you know, they say, you know, you need peace from within, but you really do, because it's a hectic, weird world that I've tried, quite frankly, has tried to avoid most of, because it doesn't appeal to me, it doesn't help me, you know. It's better to have time to sit and think and ponder and figure it out and have multiple versions of reality that you can manifest, you know. Keep your options open, look at everything from every angle. They want you to be in this static realm with no possibility of a reprieve or possibility of a plot twist. You know, keep the orchestrators of your misery guessing and keep them on their toes and mix up your own routines and patterns. And remember that if you go against what they want you to feel, think, and believe in and what your life to be, then they're going to perhaps complicate it with personal factors or things like that. At a certain point, you just got to draw a line in the sand and just be done with just the old way of living into this new earth, because it will be a new society of people, many of which are quite damaged irreparably because of this influencing the trauma and guilt cycles, the abuse, the patterns of behavior that have been instilled in them because of this life interference. It's going to be a tricky mess that's so indiscriminate in the way that it affects people that it's hard to connect dots. But like I said before, keep connecting the dots and the big picture will form. And I think it'll all make sense for people like me why we chose to endure this, because a lot of people didn't make it through this debacle. It was too defeating and too harrowing for them to continue living. In many cases, many people were just taken from this earth. I mean, it basically is like the rapture, but happening in such a way that we can't always identify it. And many people are just lulled to that false reality only. That's where they exist.